To begin your complex cuboid or modern house, use a 4B pencil to draw a horizon line across the middle of your paper, with the paper oriented in landscape. This represents the furthest distance that we can see. That's what a horizon line does. Next, to create a 2-point perspective effect, we're going to need to draw 2 vanishing points as far apart as possible from each other on the horizon line. These points represent where parallel lines look like they meet if they were to grow in distance from us. Now draw a short vertical line above the horizon line near the middle of your page. This will represent the corner of the first cuboid. Match up the bottom edge of the ruler with the bottom edge of the paper to ensure that your lines are completely vertical. Create the right and left walls of this cuboid by connecting the top of that vertical line towards the right and left vanishing points, and then create the bottom edge of the cuboid by connecting the bottom of that short vertical line to the right and left vanishing points. Create the right and left corners of the cuboid with 2 more vertical lines that connect the diagonal ones. Whenever you're measuring towards the vanishing point, make sure that your ruler is touching the vanishing point and the top point that you want to connect it to. Because this cuboid that we're currently drawing is above the horizon line, that means we're looking up at it. So we would be able to see the underside of this cuboid. To draw the underside, connect the right corner to the left vanishing point and the left corner to the right. Where these 2 lines intersect will be the back corner of the cuboid. Now we have a finished cuboid, which is a 3-dimensional rectangular shape that you can see 3 faces of and 3 edges all at one time. Let's add another one by drawing another short vertical line slightly to the left of our original center corner. We want to make sure that this line goes above and below the vanishing point. Add another parallel line next door to that one and make sure both of these lines are hitting the bottom edge of your top cuboid. Again, use the 2 vanishing points on each side to draw the right and left sides of the new cuboid, which is smaller than the one on top. The new cuboid has the horizon line going right through it, which means that we are looking up at the top half, straight on at the center, and looking down at the bottom half, because anything below the horizon line we're looking down at. Now we can repeat a new cuboid again, this time starting with a vertical line to the right of the original center line of the top cuboid in order to make it bigger than all the rest. This is to make it look sturdy and balanced and not top heavy like it's going to fall over, because this is going to be a modern house. You can choose any size for your cuboids that you'd like, but you must draw at least 3. Now I'll draw the other 2 faces of this cuboid using the right and left vanishing points and connecting those top and bottom edges with vertical lines. When I'm drawing the left face of the cuboid, I use the left vanishing point, and when I draw the right face of the cuboid, I use the right vanishing point. You can create inserts into the cuboid faces by starting with a rectangle on the wall in perspective toward the corresponding vanishing point. So here I'm drawing one on the left face of this T cuboid, and so I'm going to use the left vanishing point to draw that rectangle in perspective. And then to draw the inner corners of this insert, use the opposite vanishing point. So I'm going to switch vanishing points over to the right to draw in at a diagonal from this corner. I'm also going to draw another one down at the bottom left corner. using the right vanishing point. And now it looks like there's a hallway in the center of this T. You can also add more forms extending outward from the original cuboid forms you already have. So it's very similar to starting with an insert. Begin with a rectangle in perspective using the vanishing point corresponding to the side of the cuboid you're on. And then you can use both vanishing points once again and vertical lines to extend the rectangle out into a 3D form. This form has now become its own cuboid with its own faces that need to be corresponding to the right and left vanishing points. So, you need to continue to use the left vanishing point for the left face of this individual extension and the right vanishing point for the right face of it. Make sure, no matter what you do, that all your vertical lines that you add stay completely vertical and therefore parallel to each other. And, of course, make sure that all of your diagonal lines are directed toward the proper corresponding vanishing points. You can add elements to your stack of cuboids to make it look more like a modern house, like windows, balconies, or stairs. To add stairs, make a rectangular space for the stairs to fit into using the right and left vanishing points, extending from a wall of one of your cuboids. Now draw two diagonal lines to represent the angle of the steps, whatever angle you want. Once you've got this or something similar, a triangular shape to place the steps and a diagonal on which to draw them, divide the sloping line into a series of evenly spaced steps, going away from us in 2-point perspective. When the steps are there, we can add the rises of the steps with a zigzag pattern. One more set of diagonal lines will create the inner corner of the steps. Make sure that each one of your 3 or more cuboids has an insert, an extension, a set of stairs, a balcony, a window, or something special on it. You can add some simple shading to this drawing by using 2 tonal values. You can make a dark tonal value for the parts we're looking up at in the drawing by pressing harder with our pencil, and a medium tone for all the parts on the right side of each cuboid, pressing at a medium pressure. You can create a glass texture for windows by adding diagonal gradient shading across the pane of the window, and maybe even some reflective shading by repeating lines underneath the cuboids. Another option is to extend your lines at the corners in the drawing to create a sketchy effect. You can also add another lighter value to the front and top faces of the cuboids, but this will lower the contrast of the piece as a whole, but it adds a nice texture and it makes it more emphasized from the white background.